Hello, everyone, and welcome to Module 1 for English 1105. I'm Miss Williams, bringing you through the first introduction chapter of our Understanding Rhetoric textbook, which covers one of the most important things that we're going to be talking about this semester, which is writing spaces and spaces in which you write. A lot of people think that they're not writers or that they don't like to write. And that might be true, but more than likely you've engaged in some type of writing within the last couple of days, within the last couple of hours, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't the academic paper or the essay that we usually associate with the term writing when we think of, just am I good at writing or am I a writer? Would I consider myself a writer? So I like to tell my students that even if you don't consider yourself a writer, you've probably done some pretty good writing in your life. You've probably engaged in a multitude of writing genres and you didn't even realize that's what you were doing. So to start off Module 1 and to start off our class and to kind of help us get into the groove of writing our digital literacy narrative, we're going to look at our introduction chapter of Understanding Rhetoric to look at our main character, Liz Losh, or one of our main characters. And in this little panel here, I'm going to see if I can get a little closer. This is so much harder to do without a doc cam. Okay, so you can see Liz Losh here. She's talking about something that's really important in terms of tone and writing style that I want to highlight as we think about writing spaces and writing genres, which is something that's really important for Module 1. So in this panel, she's talking about in college classrooms, some instructors will encourage you to compose within the rules and expectations of specific academic disciplines, and some will want you to experiment wildly. Now, I have a feeling that all of us can relate to that in one way or another. You've probably had some English teachers who have really strict rules about how they want you to do things, and some English teachers who wanted you to explore and experiment to your heart's content. Both are correct. In this class, I really encourage you to think about both sides of the spectrum and think about audience, think about why you would write in one of those ways or the other. And this is on page 7 that she's talking about these two voices that our teachers will sometimes ask us to put on. And so instead of deciding to put one of those voices on, we should decide and think about, well, why would we put on one or the other? What writing space would warrant one or the other? Well, there's lots of writing spaces that would warrant one or the other. And so for today's module, I want us to explore those different spaces. Sometimes we write in those spaces, and sometimes we're reading those spaces, or those writing spaces. Sometimes we're reading them. Sometimes we're engaging with that text. So for today's module, I'm going to take you on a scavenger hunt of different writing spaces that I engage with every single day. So without further ado, I'm going to take you around my house and show you all the places that you see words and writing. And you can see one right behind me is this nice little poster here. Look. Okay, see, so you were already engaging in text because you can see this poster behind me. So I'm going to take you around my house and we're going to go on a little writing spaces scavenger hunt. So stay tuned. So actually our first stop on the writing spaces scavenger hunt is my note-taking process, because this is a writing space that I inhabit a lot. I am also a grad student here at Virginia Tech. I'm a PhD student, so I take notes a lot, but I have different ways that I take notes. So if you look at these sticky notes, this is the chaotic way that I take notes. This is me jotting down lots of different ideas. A lot of these are for English 1105 notes when I was creating your modules and discussion posts. So these are my chaotic notes that I just stick everywhere, but I'm writing down really fast. My tone is probably really chaotic and messy. I'm not really writing down full sentences, so I'm thinking about a different audience in that particular note-taking strategy. So that's my chaotic note strategy. But this is another note-taking strategy. So I'm still in planning mode. So another note-taking strategy that I'm doing. and this is a little bit more put together than my chaotic notes. Full sentences here, but some bullet points as well. So this is another writing space I have, so just notes in general. But another writing space, I don't know if you guys do this, but I do because I'm crazy. I'm a grad student, so when you're a grad student, you're certifiably insane. Wouldn't recommend it if you like your life a lot, okay? Another thing that you guys might do is a to-do list. And so I do my entire day. I literally tell myself to wake up and get dressed. That's how crazy I am. But this is another writing space, a to-do list of everything you need to do, a checklist. This lets me put down the date and time, or the times that I do everything, and I don't really do that. But I do write down everything that I have to do. So that's another writing space. Again, it's just like in a list format, another writing space that I inhabit. The tone is a little bit different than other writing, but you might have done this, and that is writing. It's a genre. Who knew that a to-do list was a genre of writing? Now you know. All right, on to the next place. All right, so here we are on the floor of my living room, and I'm going to compare two different writing spaces right now. One that is an older writing space and one that is a newer writing space. So the first writing space that I'm going to show you is in this nice box. You can see them all. They're pretty old. These are all of my grandmother's letters between her and her sister, who was my Aunt Catherine. And so, look how old. These are, I think this is dated the 1990s. Okay, cool. Going all the way back to the 90s, which was like when I was born. Anywho. So you see this nice little piece of paper. She's writing in cursive. So this is kind of an older form of writing space. I'm not sure if you guys have ever gotten to write a letter before. I highly encourage that you do it at some point. But back then, this was something that happened super frequently. I've kept all the letters. I've got them in order because this is just something that's super rare now. And it was just as often as getting a text message for us. That's it, the only way, well, not the only way, I mean, they had telephones, but it was more common to get them and to keep up with people via mail than a text message or an email even. And when you read Aunt Catherine's letters to my grandmother, they have a really, really formal tone, even though she's just talking to her sister. I'm not sure how you guys talk to your siblings, but probably not in a letter format, right? So different audiences, but also different times, different, just a different way of talking within like a different time period, which is something else to think about how those things shift. So that's my first writing space, is letter writing. Our second one is all on this little device right here, your phone. Okay, so let's just run down the 3,000 different writing spaces that you can come across in your phone. Okay, text message, any form of social media. I don't know if you can see, I've got Facebook right there. My brightness is ridiculous, so maybe if I turn that down a little bit, you can actually see what I'm talking about. So we've got Facebook. There we go, Facebook. We've got the Instagram, the gram, the IG. There we go. There's the Instagram. Okay. We've got the Snapchat. Good old Snapchat. Hello. Look at that. Hello, Zoom. Awesome. Okay. We have TikTok, but I won't pull TikTok up. Let's see. Twitter. I don't know. Is Twitter relevant? Twitter. All those different social media places that you might post on, maybe not. I know I'm missing like 1,000 different things. And dating websites also count. I don't know if anyone has, like, I'm not even sure what you guys use anymore. I'm not going to say Tinder, but anywho, whatever you use, those are also writing platforms, because you have to write a bio, you have to talk to people, anything that it involves writing introductories, bios, stuff like that. Those are writing spaces. It's a genre of writing. Social media writing is a genre. So guess what? tweeting is writing. You're a writer. If you've tweeted, you're a writer. Congratulations. You can wear that. You can wear that label proudly, or not, whatever you want. But those are writing spaces. So we've come a long way from. Don't want to get these out of order. We've come a long way from mailing our updates. Now we just tweet them. So those are two different, very, very drastically different writing spaces, different audiences. You've got one audience with your letters, and then you've got 5 million different audiences on your phone. And both of those writing spaces are equally as valid. We're going to be focusing more on the digital this semester just because, we're going to be all online. But for this particular module, I want you to think about all the writing spaces you've engaged, whether they be letter writing. Maybe you've had a pen pal. That makes you super cool. Maybe you've had a pen pal, but it's been through email. That also makes you super cool. Okay? So just start thinking about different genres that you've had, whether they be physical writing spaces or digital writing spaces, because odds are you've probably had a mixture of both. Okay, so those are 2 more writing spaces. I've still got a couple more around this house that I'm going to talk to you about, so don't go anywhere. Here we go. Okay. All right, and we'll stop on the writing spaces scavenger hunt. This is my laundry room, and so we're going to talk about a writing space that you create, but a writing space that you will engage with every single time you do laundry. Now, you might not use Gain as your laundry detergent, but you might use something similar, and any bottle that you have always has some kind of instructions on how to use it. If not, there's a liability behind that. Not having correct instructions always leads to something bad happening. People can sue you if you don't have the correct instructions. So that's why there are people, their jobs are just to write the instructions for laundry detergent. Any instruction manual, that's their job. It's their sole responsibility to make sure and nothing is going to happen. So we're going to want to just notice a couple things about our lovely Gain bottle. This is a writing space that not just only has writing, but it has pictures. So this is a different type of genre to think about when you're thinking about writing spaces. This is instructions or instruction manual. Now, it's not very long, but it does have to tell you how to use it. And it has nice little pictures to illustrate what to do. Not only does it have pictures, but it has it in different languages, just so we can be very, very sure, or very, very that we don't mess up. It says in big letters, caution, may irritate eyes, do not get in eyes, do not reuse this package. So on the line, someone has got this in their eyes and reused the package, and something has gone wrong and they've had to put it on here. So it's really important to look at these instruction labels and look at the choices people have made, because they're doing it for a purpose. They're not just putting this on there for no good reason. They are thinking through this logically. They are making sure there is no possible way that anybody could misuse this product so we don't get in trouble. That is someone's job. And so maybe now whenever you do laundry and you're just waiting for it to dry or to wash, you'll just read your labels and think, what writing choices are they making? Just kidding. You don't have to do that. But you see now that someone has to make these decisions. Someone is thinking about this writing. And so that's what this writing space is for. And that's what this chapter is talking about. Every single genre is full of choices that you make. You might not be writing a label for Gain, but you will make a lot of writing choices just as much in this class and for the rest of your lives. Okay, we've got one more stop on our writing spaces scavenger hunt, and then I promise it'll be all over with. All right, follow me. Here we go. Okay, so our last writing space for Module 1 isn't necessarily in my house, but it is something that I have created, so it is my own digital writing space that I've been cultivating for quite some time, and I show this to you because I feel like it's something you could do if you wanted to on your own. It's something that I think almost anyone who wanted to get their writing out there and make a difference with their writing could do. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can see my blog. So this is After Class with Miss Williams, which is what my YouTube page is named after. And I show this to you not because I want you to go read everything, but because I feel comfortable in picking apart my own writing and showing you what I do in terms of like rhetorical choices in a particular space. So we'll just pick one article that I've done, and this is on wordpress.com. So it's a completely free platform that you can use for any blog that you want. And so this is a blog that I wrote, I think back in April, called "You Can't Zoom the Anxiety Away," talking about the kind of fears we have about learning online. And the audience that I had for this was universities and other graduate students like myself who were kind of feeling that we were a little bit uncertain about how online learning was going to unfold for us back in the spring. So as you can see, I'm using a pretty formal tone, but not a completely formal tone because I do want it to sound conversational. I've got some quotes in here, like, some conversational pieces in here, talking back and forth amongst myself. But I do have also a little bit of a formal tone because I am talking to an administration as well. So I've got a little bit of mixed tone in this, and it's my own writing space. It's a digital writing space. It's for me as much as it is for anybody else. And so I'm just showing this to you because it's another form of a writing space that you can inhabit, or you can, I'm sure you've read blogs before. Lots of people do blogs. Some people do blogs to just get their thoughts out there. Some people do blogs because they want to have a polished, clean piece of writing out there for the world to see. Either one is fine, and you can decide who you share your writing with. That's the great thing about WordPress, is you get to you can choose what you put out there, and you can kind of choose when you put it out there, how you put it out there, who can see it. So this is just one of the ways that you can make your writing digital, and not just in more of a way than just a tweet or a Facebook post. If you guys even do Facebook. I know lots of people don't do Facebook. Now I do it because I also teach dance, so I have a lot of my dance moms are on there, so that's how I talk with them. So this is just one way that you can make your writing digital. It's a much bigger space for writing. And so I'm just showing you again kind of what mine looks like. And this is not me telling you to go get a blog. This is just me telling you this is what I do when I feel like I want to get my writing out there. There are plenty of ways to get your writing out there, but this is just one of those ways. Okay, so those are some of the writing spaces that are available. They are not all of them. I didn't even scratch the surface. We went over instructions, but there are many different instructions out there. There are cookbooks. There are car instruction manuals. Instructions for board games. There are digital instruction manuals. You can go when you get a piece of furniture, you go print off your instructions. So now that's completely digitized, which is crazy. So there are lots of writing spaces, both digital and physical. So for this module, every module you turn something in, so that way I know that you've kind of read the chapter, you've read the instruction video, you've got it, you kind of you've looked through this stuff. I want you guys to think about the writing spaces that you have encountered. And I want you to give me an example of a writing space that you have created and a writing space that you have encountered or engaged with. So let me give you some examples. So a writing space that you have created would be a social media post, a blog, something of that kind. A writing space that you have engaged with would be an instruction set, or reading the back of your laundry detergent bottle. That's something that you would have engaged with, and kind of look at it and think about, what is the purpose of this? Who is the audience? And is the author being purposeful with how they're talking about their subject, or is the author being purposeful in how they're presenting the information? Is there a specific format? Is there a specific structure in the way that they're talking? If so, why or why not? So just kind of give me a couple paragraphs on on both of those subjects. So the one that you created and the one that you're engaging with, both of those writing spaces. That'll be all you need to turn in for Module 1. The reason that I'm having you do this is because your digital literacy narrative is going to be talking about digital encounters you've had. So how have you learned about technology throughout the years? And so you're going to be talking about digital writing experiences. So in order to be able to talk about digital writing experiences, you need to identify what those even are. So for Module 1, talk about a writing space you've created and a writing space you've engaged or encountered. Does that make sense? All right, let me know if you guys have questions. Thank you guys for watching this. Hopefully it was fun to at least see some of my house. And if not, I'm sorry. All right. Hope you guys enjoy that, get that done, and I will see you guys virtually in class. All right. Bye, guys.